this to happen.
Yes, NASA, please stay with us as we have further developments to discuss. United Nations Secretary-General António Guterres has warned Israel it could be added to the UN's blacklist of parties accused of systemic sexual violence in conflict. The draft 2025 report cites grave concern over alleged abuse of Palestinian detainees by Israeli forces while blacklisting Hamas for the first time. Guterres has urged Israel to issue directives, investigate credible complaints, and grant UN access to avoid listing. Moving on to a separate development now. International pressure on the Israeli government continues to grow in New Zealand. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon says Benjamin Netanyahu has lost the plot, condemning Israel's actions in Gaza. He says recognition of a Palestinian state is under consideration as protests and parliamentary clashes intensify. Let's listen in to his statement.
Oh, I think what's happening in Gaza is utterly appalling. I think Netanyahu has gone way too far. I think he has lost the plot, and I think that what we're seeing overnight with the attack on Gaza City is utterly unacceptable, and that's what we have been calling for as an international community now for a long period of time. He is not listening to the international community, and that is unacceptable.
We're now once again joined by Nasser Mashni. He's the president of the Australia-Palestine Advocacy Network once again. Nasser, we've just heard from the New Zealand Prime Minister. Before that, we have heard that the UN Chief António Guterres warned Israel that it could be blacklisted for systemic sexual violence. How significant would such a listing be in terms of international accountability? And also, how do you think that Israel might respond to this? Do you think it will investigate thoroughly?
I can't believe you held a straight face while saying that, Tom. The reality is Israel doesn't investigate itself. It's laughable to suggest or think they care what the United Nations say. A year ago, Israeli prison guards raped a Palestinian prisoner to death with a pole. When those prison guards were arrested, a riot ensued at that prison, and it was attended by 2 members of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. And they were protesting for the right to rape, for the right to rape. Earlier this year, the UN Human Rights Commission released the report saying more than a human could bear was the title of the report. What we know absolutely is that Israel subjects Palestinians to ranges of tortures. Amongst them is the use of sexual torture. It's shameful that we're even suggesting that they shouldn't be on a list. This country is a rogue, genocidal, apartheid state that doesn't belong amongst the world's body of nations. It needs to be held to account, it needs to be boycotted, it needs to be divested from, and it needs to be sanctioned.
Yes, and moving on now, Nasser, we've just heard from the New Zealand Prime Minister there saying some quite strong statements against Benjamin Netanyahu as New Zealand mulls over whether to recognise a Palestinian state or not. How important is it for the people of Palestine that more and more nations, particularly allies of Israel, recognise Palestinian state, or is this just largely a symbolic action?
Absolutely, it's entirely symbolic. What it is about, assuaging some of their own guilt and their complicity. 147 countries recognise Palestine today. It hasn't stopped the slaughter, it hasn't stopped the starvation, it hasn't stopped the killing. What needs to happen is countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, France and Germany, they need to stop all military trade. They need to sanction that state, they need to expel their ambassadors. And we need to isolate Israel and its sole benefactor, the United States, its only real ally, quote unquote, and make them the pariahs that they are. Until we do such time, it'll continue to commit these acts with impunity. And reporters like yourself, Thomas, might suggest that Israel will investigate itself. It's got to be held to a higher account. It must cease to exist in the manner that it exists.
Thank you very much for joining us, Nassem, on the programme. Pleasure to speak to you.